Football is here. The Golden Circle Sports Bar inside.
What's happening, everybody? Here we go.
Games on the strip. There's a huge video wall and over 55 plus screens throughout the bar. Place your sports bets at the new STN Sportsbook.
Well, this is the aftermath of that really bad loss, and we'll work through it. Right? We're going to work through this and see what we got.
Here's every day from 10 to 16. Tryout, the Vegas destination for those seeking a contemporary resort experience with an ideal location on the Las Vegas Strip. And remember, parking is always free.
All right. Hope everyone had a good weekend other than the game.
26th and 27th, Nevada's largest golf and culinary event. Put your foursome together.
Yeah, it was a bad loss, man. Everybody here an effing adult and can handle a bad loss? Or am I going to have to deal with a bunch of people who want to jump off a bridge? We know it was a bad loss. We know it sucked. We know it's got to get fixed. We know. So if you want to quit on your team and bail, you can do that. I'm going to be here the whole season like I am every season. If you want to get behind your team and encourage them, you can. If you want to lose your mind, do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm not here to be Twitter police. And the Bricktator, just show respect. Just show respect. You know my rule now. This is a privilege to have this forum here, right? YouTube, we have some fun. We make some internet friends. You can be really upset. Show respect. If you don't show any respect, everybody that I've ever said goodbye to, I've never seen again. So it's real simple. I hope to see you again. I hope you could handle this. I didn't expect this heading into week 4, but that's what we got. So what it is. You want to blame me? Blame me. I tell my son, if you want to blame someone, blame me. If that makes you feel better. I got a job to do, and I'm going to do a great job, as I always do, trying to do this.
Sam and Ash.
Yeah, we know they were manhandled. We know the offensive line has problems. We know this. So you want to fix it, or do you want to bitch and moan? You want to fix it? Do you want to complain? You want to fix this and want to whine, or you want to fix it? That's it. You know, again, I mostly deal with adults. Adults want to fix problems, man. Niners lost Nick Bosa for the year with a torn ACL. Najee Harris gone for the year with a torn Achilles. You know, there are a lot of teams that I don't want to say they're worse off or better off than the Raiders. There are a lot of teams that are 1-2 or haven't won, and they're dealing with it.
See your Southern Nevada Chevy dealers. Having his 2 Irish, boy, too. Join me for unnecessary growth at the Summer 7th. They love locals with big food and drink specials, plus all the fun NFL action. Don't miss every Monday with me live at Silver Sevens starting at 2 p.m. P.S. First 20 listeners, you get your first free.
Never miss another show. Stream us live. Listen to past podcasts 24/7 at lbsportsnetwork.com. This is Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLP Las Vegas.
This is Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to JT the Brick on Raider Nation Radio.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
You know, we're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at a place.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, as we kick off a week here on the flagship of the Silver and Black, Raider Nation Radio. You can watch the show live. We are live and streaming on YouTube, on X. That's JT the Brick YT on YouTube, X JT the Brick. If you're a body language guy like me, you'll be able to see my body language. So here's the deal. We got a lot to cover today. Since I last talked to you on this platform, I hosted the Raiders pregame show. I hosted the Raiders postgame show. I hosted my national show on Mad Dog last night. And this morning, I hosted Raiders Roundtable with Eric Allen and Lincoln Kennedy and Paul Gutierrez. I'm all prepped up. No one has talked about the Raiders more than me since the game ended. Nobody. Play-by-play guy, analyst, no one's talked about the Raiders more than me. Maybe Eric Allen. Eric Allen, maybe. So the amount of volume that I've covered on that loss in the Commanders, I'm ready to go. So you don't have to worry about me. Did I see this? I saw everything. And we're going to adjust, and we're going to get ready this week, which now becomes a critical week that I did not expect to be this critical heading into week 4 of the regular season. It's a critical week. I will elevate my game. I hope you elevate your game, and we're able to have a productive week here. I'm going to have a productive week. My job's pretty simple. I review the tape, talk about it for a day or two, then we move on to the opponent, the Chicago Bears, who look great. They didn't look good. They look great. Oh, boy. We got to deal with that. So with everything that's happening here, if you're watching me live on YouTube and you're seeing what I'm going to talk about today, we are going to get down in the weeds and we're going to try to fix this. We're going to get down in the weeds and try to fix this. I interview the head coach tomorrow. I sit down with Pete Carroll tomorrow. He's chill. He's not going to panic. This is why he's here. He's not going to panic. He's going to try to fix it. I hope everybody has respect for Pete Carroll. I hope you do, because if you don't, we're probably going to lose you. In regards to if you don't respect Pete Carroll in the process and how he can kind of adjust and do that, then I don't know I can't help you. Then I can't help you, and you might need to have a different therapist than me. You need someone else who's going to tell you that your life as a Raider fan is going to be okay or not. Because Pete Carroll is really the strength of this team because of his unbelievable success that he's been as a head coach. That's kind of what Pete brings to the table. If you're checked out on that, oh boy, after he's installing a new program and he's instilling everything new and he's trying to get this right, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not the guy for you on that one. I'm the guy saying let Pete try to figure this out, give Pete the benefit of the doubt, but we're all upset. That doesn't change your misery index. That doesn't change that you're upset about what you've seen. We know all that. As we said, it's big boy radio. In my time slot, we're big boy radio. 30 years of doing this, we do it differently. We don't let people come in and make fun of people's hair or rip on the coach's son and ask him to be fired. If you want to do that, there's plenty of platforms to do that. If you want to criticize and be fair and make suggestions, this is the perfect show for you. My train has left the station decades ago where I give a crap what anybody thinks anymore, other than my bosses, the coaches, and the people that I care about. Everybody else, I could care less. You either like the show, you like the energy of it, you like the content, you like the guest, you like all that. I think we're really good at that. Really good at that. And most of it doesn't have to do with me. It has to do with everybody else who contributes. But I know what everybody's piping off about. I did the post-game show after the game with Lincoln Kennedy. What do you think we did for 90 minutes? We're trying to work our way through this. And there's a lot of things we got to work our way through. So if you want to get through on Mondays, I've kind of changed it up a bit. We have Sam Mson at the top of the hour. That's a national interview, as he does a great job from the 33rd team. I got Mark Anderson from the AP. He was at the press conference today with Pete Carroll. We have the Pete Carroll press conference. If you didn't hear it live, you'll hear it here. So we got a lot to cover. Okay? We got a lot to cover today, and most of it is negative because of the performances of the last 2 weeks were really bad. They didn't lose games. They lost those games terribly and played very poorly. So everybody needs to be evaluated, the coaches, the players, the philosophy of what they're doing, because not only is it not working, but they're the talk of the town because it's looking really bad. So we got that. We've done this before, but it's supposed to be different with Pete Carroll. Okay, the level of respect you have with Pete Carroll to fix this, look, he's either going to fix it or not. Hopefully he fixes it. I'm a season ticket holder. I want it to be fixed. Hopefully he fixes it this year. That would even be better. If it takes a little bit longer than that, I think everybody understands why Pete Carroll was brought in to do this. And then there's always those side topics about who should play, should you change out a player, should you bench a player and all that. I actually enjoy that. I actually enjoy that aspect of sports radio. I really do. I'm a guy when it comes to sports radio that is glass is half empty. In life, if you know me, I think I'm glass is half full. My son is sitting next to me. We'll get his response. But when it comes to this, I want the Raiders to win every game. If they lose close games and play well, it's okay. I'm upset that they lost, really upset, but I see things that they're doing. Right now, they're doing nothing correctly. Right now, they need to fix everything. They need to fix everything, probably other than the culture of compete and do that. That wasn't a scam. We didn't fake that. Vinny Bonsignore, Vince Sapienza, Q Myers, we're at practice all year. The new competition, Pete, and how he's building this organization and his likeliness, that wasn't fake. That's all real, and it's still real. on how he's preparing, looking at the tape after a bad game. That's what he does. He's had tremendous success. He has, I don't think, and I could be wrong, someone can check me on this. I can't recall a time when Pete Carroll in Seattle had 2 games like this. And believe me, Geno had a bad game or 2 from time to time. We know that. Geno didn't play well from time to time and probably lost 2 in a row. And one of them, he had 3 picks or whatever, but it didn't look this bad. It did not look this bad. So that's kind of new to Pete Carroll, wouldn't you say? I mean, you got to go back to Pete Carroll as the head coach of the Patriots before he got let go, maybe where a team didn't look that good. It wasn't like that at USC, and it wasn't like that with Seattle. So Pete hasn't had to deal with what he's dealing this week. I'm comfortable that he can handle it because he's a potential Hall of Fame coach. This is not a rookie coach, an interim head coach. This is someone that's not going to get caught up in drama. This is a guy who's going to come to work and be really enthusiastic and try to fix it. So before I get to everybody here, I just want to give you, and we got all the sound bites that I'll play throughout the show. This is a 2-day cleanup, Jess. This is a 2-day, okay? There's a spill in aisle 2, and I got to bring in a hazmat machine to clean up aisle 2. This is a 2-day cleanup for me. I can't go to the Bears yet. And I'm telling you, I watched the Bears yesterday. Let me tell you what happened with the Bears. The Bears had their come to God moment. Oh, right before us. Really? They had their game where Ben Johnson has been preaching. Please, guys, believe in me. Believe in what I'm going to do. I'm Ben Johnson. Believe in what I'm instilling. And it happened in a big way against the Cowboys. And as I talked to Eric Allen about this today on Raiders Roundtable, here's what's crazy. When you beat the Cowboys at any level, dating back to Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson, Bill Parcells, whenever, even now Brian Schottenheimer, when you beat the Cowboys, they're bigger than anybody. They're America's team. So you beat them badly, and then you get on a plane to go to Vegas. Everybody on that plane from Chicago is bought in now. They were not bought in 48 hours ago. They weren't. I can prove it. They were not all bought in. Now they are. We got to deal with that too. But I know Max Crosby personally. I know Geno. I'm getting to know Geno more. I talk to Pete Carroll every week. I'm pretty confident that the Raiders are all in. There are a couple of rogue Raider fans that want to say, well, he doesn't like him, or why doesn't he start of this? And you're trying to find something to tear apart the team. You're trying to find something that is maybe there or not. I don't know if it's there or not, but I think overall, knowing Pete Carroll and getting to know him, that he'll have this figured out. Someone told me Pete was brought in just for this, not to freak out. Pete doesn't freak out. He's a hell of a football coach. So let him figure it out. But now the big elephant in the room before I get to the calls, and they're lined up, is that the offensive line is looked at around the league as a disaster. So don't clip this and tell me I said that. I did not say that. Around the league, the national media is painting out the Raiders' offensive line to be a disaster. So we got to figure out how it's going to get fixed. Now, Lincoln Kennedy and I had some pushback you're going to hear when we play our segment later. Lincoln, who was one of the great offensive lines to play in the modern era of the Raiders, believed that you can't keep changing everything up. You got to coach these guys up better. You got to coach them up better and to get it done this way, better. And then once you coach them up better and they get more experience, they'll get better. That's Lincoln's theory on this. Other people believe blow it up, cut him, move him, take this guy out. I'm kind of in between. I think one of the things the Raiders have at their resources is they can move things around. If they want to move Jackson Powers-Johnson to center to see if he could help make the offensive line better, they can do that. We know that he played center. He won the Remington Award in college. If they want to bench Dylan Parham, bench him for a game, and bring in or move Kappa over there or do something, they can do that. Dylan Parham deserves to be benched, in my opinion. But I'm not saying cut. I'm not saying that Dylan Parham can't come back in a week or two because he sees something better. I don't know. And with all this, something has to happen now. It is a one-alarm fire because it's early in the season. We don't want to see it turn into a 5-alarm blaze where we need helicopters with water and we need everybody on deck to put out this fire. This is a fire now with this offensive line. And Raider Nation is feeding into the fire. Raider Nation is feeding the fire because A, you're really smart. You're Raider fans. You know what you're doing. B, you know football and you know this team. But what's happening now with Raider fans is they're skipping over everything, saying this is a train wreck. It's a forest fire. We can't fix it. I'm not going to do that because I'm running a radio show. I can't throw kerosene on the fire, nor do I. I've never done that. I want the team to fix it. So that's where we're at. And for those who say it's already a 5-alarm fire, great. That's your opinion. And you have the ability to do a couple of things. Figure out and help me on how to fix it, but do it with respect. Number 2, special teams was a nightmare. A nightmare. Special teams was so bad that let's play the Deebo Samuel. The game starts, you're on the road, you win the toss, you defer, you're going to kick it off to Deebo Samuel. I have no problem kicking it off to Deebo Samuel. You got to be able to tackle him. This is how the game opened up.
Big hole, on across the 30, Samuel near midfield, and he's angry. Samuel at the 30, Raiders finally track him down inside the 25-yard line. A 70-yard kickoff return for Deebo Samuel to open things up.
Okay, that's Jason Horowitz on all the calls. So special teams, you're thinking to yourself, oh boy, we can't have this problem. We can't have this problem. We can't have a special teams problem. It got worse. It got worse. So there were no adjustments on special teams. They just got hammered. And you're not supposed to. Special teams is supposed to be a non-event now with this new enhanced kickoff rule where everybody's in a phone booth and no one can bust a big play. Either us or them can't bust it. You tackle everybody between the 20 and 30. Right? That's it. There's no Billy White Shoes Johnson running around or the great Tim Brown, a Hall of Famer on punt returns. We don't have that much in the league. It just happened to us. Okay, so we're behind the 8 ball right out of the gate. And then Marcus Mariota, we didn't know if he could play at a high level or not. Marcus Mariota sends a message to the entire Raider Nation that his body clock is ready, his energy is high, and he's going to run it in for a touchdown.
Mariota in the shotgun, 3rd and goal from the 2. McLaurin wide left, 2 receivers right, Samuel in the slot. Mariota's going to pass for the first time. He's penetrated. He takes off up the middle, dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. Kirk, you said it right from the get-go. He's not the same runner he once was, but he's still dangerous. Mariota, a 2-yard scramble, and the Commanders, 3 minutes into the game, have a 6-0 lead.
Okay, so that's how the game opened up. The Raiders are behind, but the Raiders weren't that far behind. The Raiders could have stabilized this whole thing, 10-3, not the end of the world. Raiders could have stabilized everything. And then they started running their offense, and their offensive line couldn't pick up anybody and block. Ashton Genty's getting clipped behind the line of scrimmage. I will say this about Ashton. When Ashton does have a clean hole, there better not be anybody complaining about Ashton Genty. When there's a hole, he hits it and runs up 10 yards and runs someone over. That's what he looks like. I talked to a Hall of Famer today and said he remembers O.J. Simpson's rookie year, one of the greatest to ever play. His rookie year in Buffalo, he couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage. He was getting tattooed. He turned out to be one of the greatest of all time on the field. Okay, when Ashton has a hole, he's hitting it, he looks great. He doesn't look good, he looks great. When he can't get the ball because he's getting blown up when Gino hands it to him, that's a different story. If you want to rip on Ashton, I don't know how you can. I got a lot more to get to. I want to get to Chris in West Oakland. He's a coach who wants to get back to practice. Chris, you kind of warned us of this. Don't get too high after the New England victory.
I'm not. Listen, the Chargers and the rest, the Commanders are better than the Raiders. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're better teams. What alarmed me a little bit that I didn't think I'd see with Pete Carroll coach teams, I'm not seeing that feistiness, that competitiveness. I knew this was going to be a tough game going across the country, but like you said, you start off the game, you're down 7-0, you give up a 70-yard kickoff return, and then you let a quarterback like Mariota that you know their game plan is going to be to run the ball. They run the ball down your throat 5 straight times, and Geno Smith and the offense is in a 7-0 hole before they ever touch the ball. And this is the biggest. They didn't look ready to play. For whether you want to blame the long road trip, the short week, whatever. I don't expect that out of Pete Carroll coach team. And yes, I respect Pete Carroll immensely. He's not a potential Hall of Famer, JT. He's a lock Hall of Famer eventually. And I do think he'll get it right. We'll go there a little more. But this was a beatdown at all 3 levels: special teams, defense, offense. Defense can't tackle. They're blowing coverages. Other than Max Finley got a sack, I believe it was in the fourth quarter, they're just not getting home and not creating havoc, and they're not forcing turnovers. Again, this isn't the Ravens of 2000 where you're just going to lock teams up and force them into 3 and out. They need to bend, not break. They need to get some turnovers because for this offense to have any chance, they've got to be set up on the short. Now let's get to that offense. Look, Geno Smith was awful Monday night. I'm not going to say – you want to give him a pass yesterday. Yesterday's offensive line, JT, looked like a JV team practicing against the varsity. It was that bad. Geno was running for his life, and those 2 long touchdowns to Trey Tucker, that's just window dressing because the Commanders had called off the Dolphins at that point. But with the offensive line, and this is a question for Lincoln Kennedy, I don't like, and I'm going to die on this hill, I'm not a fan of the zone blocking scheme, but as a coach, the coaching 101, you coach what you have, not what you wish you do. If you want a zone blocking scheme, then you get smaller, quicker linemen. The Raiders have big maulers. JPJ, Parham, Miller, Glaze. These are big man-on-man guys. The question for Lincoln, JT, is asking this. Is that a Pete Carroll decision, or is that a Chip Kelly and his line coach's decision, which scheme you're going to run? Because I don't believe the other thing is, I don't believe it's going to get better if they keep trying to jam a round hole, a square peg in a round hole. That's what you're trying to do with this group and zone blocking. So, yeah, like I said, that would be a question for Link to ask. Yep. Maybe he can answer that better than you. Other than that, man, look, it's a big game coming up. We'll talk about that more this week. But as I said in my prediction, I don't want this season to skid off the rails and we're out of it by Halloween. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not panicking yet. But what worries me about the line, especially after 3 games, we're getting worse each week. We're not getting better. That's not a good sign. So we'll worry more about the Chicago game later in the week, man. I'm not ready to jump off the cliff yet, but I got to admit, there's some signs there I don't like. Thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, thanks for Chris, who's been a Raider fan his whole entire life, a season ticket holder and all that. Chris really is passionate. The older he gets, like me, I think the calmer he gets in the level of just losing our minds. But when it does come to this overall, there is a level of concern with the offensive line. There is. This team decided to draft DJ Glaze the year before and not bring in a signature veteran right tackle. Okay. Before John Spytek got here, because John Spytek's new, and I think he overall drafted a lot of good players, right? A lot of good players. We know why he's here. What he did at Tampa, I believe a lot in what John Spytek's trying to do. But they were like, we're going to go with DJ Glaze. Okay. Don't act like DJ Glaze is going to pitch a shutout. Dylan Parham came from a former regime. Two before. Dylan Parham was the first draft pick of, at the time, if you look at Dave Ziegler, who drafted some good players, then it was Tom Telesco. Now it's John Spytek. Well, guess what? Dylan Parham made the team. If they didn't like him, he wouldn't have made the team. He would have been gone. Everybody was gone and scrubbed from this roster if they didn't believe in him. I think Dylan Parham could be a good player. What has happened to him? There are literally plays where someone lines up in front of him and then no one's in front of him and he doesn't pick anybody up and 3 guys are in the backfield. Oh boy, wait a second. What's going on with that? Okay, is it communication? Is it trying to figure out what you're going to do with protection? Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback of all time with one thing, many things, but Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback of all time. No one was second when it came to protection. Do you remember all the times Brady went to the line of scrimmage early in the count, looked at the defense, said something to the right, said something to the left? He was talking about the protection, not, hey, you, go run a bomb. Hey, you, go run this. They had that all figured out. He had the protection set. And then Brady would fade back. And you notice that Brady always threw to someone who was wide open. That's what was great about Brady's career, is when Brady faded back and he threw the ball, very much like Mahomes, but better, he threw it to the open guy. We're throwing it to guys who are double covered. We don't have an open guy. And the reason we don't have an open guy is twofold. We're not putting enough players into the route because we don't have enough time to protect. This is football 101. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go empty. Okay? I don't need Ashton Genty to block. Okay? If we're going to line up Ashton Genty behind a guard and put him in that situation where he's not lining up behind Geno, he's ahead of Geno behind a guard, we got problems. We didn't draft that kid to do that. So if Ashton's behind and he's an empty, it's just Ashton, he's a single back set, we got to run 4 guys. And I told you this last week. 2 things I told you last week. It's not, hey, I told you so. What do I know? I told you 2 things. We got Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton. They're both really fast, right? Supposedly 4-3. Do we all agree on that? Why aren't we running those guys deep and taking 2 safeties and corners with them to open up the middle of the field? I don't know, because we don't have the time to do it. We don't have the time to run the plays that I want to run out of Henderson. When they're running these plays in Henderson, going up against Charles Snowden and someone else in shorts and shells, and they're running a crossing route, there's no one like Max at 1,000% trying to take him down. So everybody's open. Not happening in the game. Our quarterback, who is good, we got a good quarterback. And man, I don't say this often, and you know me. If you've been listening to me, I don't say this often because I wasn't a fan of Derek Carr all the time at the podium. At the podium, Derek was very emotional. Derek got beat up a lot. Derek got hammered physically in a lot of games. And when he went to the podium, you were like, what's Derek going to say? Is Derek going to be emotional? Is Derek always wanted to win? He was a man of faith. He always talked about his faith, which I loved, and wanting to win. But Derek could get there and tell you something because he was emotional. Geno, it's on me. This is on me. I can't wait to get back in the building. I'll fix this. Same with Pete. Give him a chance to do it. Give him a chance to do it. See, I have no choice because I'm a season ticket holder and a radio host. I'm going to be here throughout the season, and I'm hoping there's some ebb and flows. Right? There's some good things and some bad things, and they clean up the bad things. Right now, they have a bigger problem on their hands than after the Chargers where they scored 9 points. Charger game, they didn't play that bad. Their defense played pretty good. They were down 3-0 before the whistle blew, and they only gave up 17 points to Justin Herbert, who's a lot better than Marcus Mariota. But this game had a lot of problems that I'm very concerned about. I am very concerned with this offensive line. And I believe that you have to change the philosophy of what the coaches want to do with this O-line, which normally is just make it simpler, right? It's not make it more complex. Forget about that. It's not bringing in a Harvard MBA offensive line mind to go, we're going to do something really tricky and way out there. We're going to do this wild new. No. We got to make it, I block you, you block him, and hope it works. Case Raider out in Illinois. You're up next. Appreciate you calling in. What do you got?
You know, JT, we listen to everyone tell us everything all off season about the high-flying offense, the high-scoring offense, the defense is doing this, the defense is doing that, JT. But then it comes to game time. This is what the Raiders need to do, and I'm going to keep it honest and calm and real with you. The Raiders, we have to start from ground zero, JT. There's this mismatch.
Goodbye. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. We know who he is. He's stupid enough to say he's from Illinois. My wife's from Illinois. It's just amazing. That's on me. Okay, so you're gone. I mean, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I am a tool in the shed. I could be productive here. So no, that's done on that one. So when it comes to what we talked about in the preseason, what did anybody talk about in the preseason that worked or didn't work? I was here for the whole preseason. What did we say that worked or didn't work? We brought in Pete Carroll. We drafted Ashton Genty. We got Dante Thornton, Jack Besh. I talked to Jack Besh today for a minute, just for a minute in the lunchroom for a second on the way out. And we got the players. We're questioning the offensive line. Are we all good with this? Is there anything I'm missing? Because the other thing I'm questioning is when you have inexperienced corners, your inexperienced corners are going to get beat maybe every game. You better hope the game doesn't come down to a fourth quarter inexperienced corner because he might go for a stop and go. Caillou Kelly might do that for 10 weeks and still play well. I saw that coming. I told you all about. If we didn't want Stephon Gilmore, if we didn't want a veteran, if we weren't going to trade for a corner When we had Jack Jones here, he was making some mistakes, but we knew what we had in Jack Jones. I'm all for the youth movement because Pete wants to go with younger players and play them. I'm all right with that. But now we have a problem with the O-line, and the O-line needs to be fixed. So Lincoln Kennedy has already joined me this week. You'll hear that. I've reached out to Steve Wisniewski, maybe the nastiest guard to ever play for this team other than Gene Upshaw. And I reached out to him. And there's a couple other offensive linemen I'm texting just to get their comments. And we got to figure out how to fix the offensive line. That's it. Because the offensive line does not have any. Let me walk that back. The offensive line at this moment leaves us no indication that they're going to play better, no matter if the coach tells me that tomorrow, you tell me it on the phones, I tell you on the phones. As of today, and what's today's date? September 22nd. Other than Colton Miller, we are looking at an offensive line, and the Raider Nation has little to no confidence in them. So we got to fix it. Coaches get paid to fix it. Okay, they're in film study. They're not panicking. They're working with the team. They're trying to fix this. Give the coaches credit that they can fix it. And if you don't want to give them credit for that, you can still participate. But, man, it's week 3. I think we should be 2-1 by now. Everybody that I knew in Raider Nation before the season started would have took 2-2 all day long. That's what I had the Raiders at, 2-2. I didn't have them at 3-1. I didn't see this team going 4-0. I had them about 2-2. Well, now we got to win. And I'm telling you, Chicago's coming in here. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. They are coming in here flying high. The monologue is brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. Head on out to PTs tonight for Monday Night Football. How about this game? And we'll give you all our Monday Night Football venues if you can't get to a PTs coming up there. But 5 to 7, half-price drinks. It sounds great to me. When we come back, more on this O-line issue. How do you change protection? What do you do? How do you try to fix it? I want to thank Mike over at La Casa Cigars. I was there with Thor the other day. We had an unbelievable cigar. We had a couple of Modelos, and we talked Raider football. That was before the game. Now I'm going to need 3 Modelos and an Uber card to get home. But I'm ready to roll today. Raider Nation, come to me. Come to me. I'm ready for you. Woohoo!
On unnecessary roughness.
Andrea Kramer is with us.
I've covered Pete's entire career, profiled sports years ago. The NFL is better when Pete.
All right, man. I need everybody subscribing to these podcasts that we're doing. Lay in the Wood with Rod Woodson. The JT and Looney podcast. Let's start subbing, man. We got 700 people in here. I need some subscribers. Get it in the chat. The reason why the draft picks were inactive is everybody's healthy. What do you mean? Why are the draft picks inactive? Ask that about Raheem Mostert. The offensive linemen aren't going to play. They're inactive because the starters are playing. You can't activate everybody on the team. You got to have some inactive players. You can't dress that many.
Just like in sports, business has all its MVPs and Ford.
Yep. Pete Carroll's first 2 years in Seattle, 7-9, 7-9, then 11-5.
And exceptional.
What about Wasted Talent? Wasted Talent's coming on this week. He's on every other week. He's really good.
State. Visit country at the Valley Auto Mall. Online at FordCountryHenderson.com. Ford Country. The difference is real. Hey, JT, from all these, it's hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas.
Yeah, we got to keep an eye, keep a run on these live reads. And there's just so many of them, dude. We have to put a plan together. Where I'm just like, I know I did Modelo, I did La Casa, I did GT. We just got to really get this stuff going.
Temperature control. Yes. In luxurious lounge chairs.
Thank you.
And private cabanas. Feel the energy and catch every play from every game. You're massive. 33 good screen. When it comes to watching football all season long,
you know, we got some wise asses here. Catmandu on Josh McDaniels. You know, everybody could use this chat and be a wise ass. I don't care about that. As long as you subscribe. Yeah, passionate. Passionate's an idiot. Again, we've known that.
And no matter what you do, no matter what you try, low-cost treatment options may be available, so you and your baby can get healthy now.
I'm going to come back with a Ravens touchdown.
Does everybody think at 59 years old I want to deal with trolls calling in trying to change their names? Everybody think that's why I've done this for 30 years? To deal with some guy living at home, trying to sneak in like that hasn't happened to me before.
If you help someone who's pregnant using
Start JPJ. Well, what happens if they're trying to start JPJ, but he wasn't ready because of the concussion protocol and they weren't ready to put him in that game? So if you want to start him, I think that's fair.
When you need legal advice, you need the brother.
I do have my finger on the eject button. I do.
They're my attorneys and they
All right, and then we'll dial Mark Anderson.
injuries and accidents.
Yeah, let me.
Law firm.
You're dialing him now. Go ahead.
Fight for yours.
big news, Las Vegas. Les Olson IT has moved to a bigger, better facility to serve you like never before.
How about that new logo?
Technology, more service, and more solutions. All
That's
designed
cool. My son made that. Did you make that? Is that good?
with a company that values innovation and community. Join our team today. Proudly serving Las Vegas for 23 years and counting. Les Olson IT, your business better. Les Olson IT.
Chickies and Pete's race a classic Billy Tail.
Chickies and Pete's. Chickies and Pete's.
2-foot-long classic Philly cheesesteak and 2 pounds of world-famous crab fries in 45 minutes to earn champ status. Plus free parking and LA make game day a breeze. Experience ESPN's #1 sports bar in North America. Chickies and Pete's, the ultimate destination for Philly fans. Book your reservations today at SaharaLasVegas.com.
Welcome back to the JT Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Just fire suffer off the left shotgun. Brasino, great drop, looking. Stancic out to the right, throws back in the end zone for Tucker. Wide open. He caught it. Touchdown Raiders. Trey Tucker came from all the way on the left side. He followed his quarterback all the way to the right side. His second touchdown of the year. And after an awful start, the Raiders are an extra point away from tying this game.
Trey Tucker had a hell of a game. How dare anybody say it was during garbage time? Ask anybody like Fred Biletnikoff or a wide receiver like Mervyn Fernandez, who I spend time with at this garbage time. You play in an NFL football game and you get 3 touchdowns in a game, that is fantastic. Trey Tucker looks good. Get the ball to him. The first play of the game was to Jacoby Myers for a big play. Why didn't we see that play again? What happened? Moving Geno out, big play. Let's see more of that. Glass is half full as Trey Tucker's getting open. He's becoming a possession receiver. Jack Bash made an unbelievable catch coming back to the ball on a 3rd down. But we got to get Brock going, and we got to get everybody going here. What about Dante Thornton? I mean, come on. Dante Thornton's a matchup nightmare. Mark Anderson, the great journalist from the AP, joins us. I think your first question today, correct me if I was wrong, was on special teams. How did Pete Carroll react to that performance?
He was actually on the offensive line, but I did ask him about special teams. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, he made a point of giving credit to Washington for special teams play, but obviously you just can't give that up. You know, the kickoff return to open the game, that set the tone. Suddenly it's 7-0 before, you know, the game's barely started. That said, I thought they had every chance to go into halftime 10-10, and then who knows, second half. When they gave up those 10 points right at the end of the second, right at the end of the first half, I thought the game was essentially over at that point. I know teams come back all the time, but it just felt like this game was done at that point.
Yeah, I was really, before we get to the O-line, I was really disappointed that at the end of the first half, I think it was 3rd and 17, and they checked down. And then they got, you know, Washington got the ball and was able to get in field goal range and take that 2-score lead. That to me wasn't what I wanted to see. I know you got to be careful with the time, and I just don't think this team throws to the marker enough. The problem with the former regimes was third and anything over 10 was just a handoff and just get off the field. I'm hoping with Geno Smith with his legs, Mark, that on 3rd and 17, 3rd and 14, they give someone a chance to make a play and throw it to get a flag. That was a point in the game. I agree with you. I went into halftime saying, man, they could have got the ball out down 7 with the ball to tie up the game, and the game seemed to get away right there.
Yeah, and then the play where I can't remember the back's name, we broke 3 tackles at the line of scrimmage and scored on a 60-yard run. You just can't give that up. I mean, maybe because the Commanders still go down and score at that point, but if you hold them to, say, a field goal and you go into halftime down 13-10, you feel like you're right there. I just felt, and I wasn't on the sideline, obviously. I don't know how they felt, but it just, watching it on TV, it just felt like such an inflating moment.
Mark Anderson's our guest. So let's get to the elephant in the room, the offensive line. What do you think Pete Carroll and the staff have to do from his son to Chip Kelly? It's Chip Kelly's offense. He's at the top as offensive coordinator. Joe Philbin's a former head coach in this league. At the press conference, did you sense that was as big of a story as it sounds like it is? And what is Pete Carroll going to do to rectify that before the Bears come in?
Well, it sounds like JPJ is going to get every look this week, and I think Pete Carroll. What I gathered from him today sounds like he wants Jackson Powers Johnson to reclaim the right guard position, and so I think that's part of where they're going to start. He also said they have who they have. The two players they drafted, I think both in the 3rd round. He said they're not ready. Maybe later at this point they will be. They're just not ready now. So this is who they have. So maybe Jackson Powers Johnson gives them a little bit of a boost. He's going to need to. There's also, I'm sure, some things they can do from a schematic standpoint to take some pressure off the line and do some more, more quick passes, that sort of thing, to kind of loosen the defense. We saw this game though, when they started taking shots down the field a little bit more, that seemed to help too. So. There's things they can do, but I think he's largely right. I mean, they've got who they got, and they're maybe they can make a move at the trade deadline, but I don't really see that being a cure-all. So I think they should have made offensive line more of a priority in the offseason, and now we're seeing that they're paying the price for it.
Mark Anderson's our guest. I think everybody's talking about that. What could they have done to improve this? But you and I were there the year before in Costa Mesa where Colton Miller wasn't available. Jackson Powers Johnson didn't play a snap in camp and in the preseason, and the offensive line was okay in the second half and at the end of the year. It's just that it seems like something's in their head in regards to protection. I mean, I've never seen this from Dylan Parham. I mean, there are plays where he's lining up with 2 guys in front of him, and he's going the wrong way on protection, and a linebacker is coming through untouched and just attacking Geno. I mean, this is basic blocking here, man. If you're going backwards because you're pass protecting, pick up a guy with each arm, try to hit someone. But I feel like now they're trying to get their protection to go where they're feeling we got to control that gap. That gap, we got to help Jordan Meredith. So we're going to kind of double that gap, and then someone's coming through a wide open dam break, and Geno has no time to do anything.
No, he was running for his life, and I was impressed by him that he didn't get sacked more often yesterday. I thought he did it. I thought he did about as well as you could under the circumstances.
Yeah.
And I thought Ashton Fiske actually did pretty well too. I mean, how many times did he met in the backfield by a defender? But when he had the chance to actually get some room and be physical, he was really good. I thought it was actually probably his best game of the season so far. I do think he's going to eventually break out, but he's going to need help up front. And maybe this is the week it happens. It's going to happen. You would think sooner than later, but it does start up front. And if that line doesn't improve, then it will be a long season for Ashton.
Wrapping it up with Mark Anderson. So before I see at the game, Chicago looked great, but look, they're playing Dallas. Dallas's defense is very flawed on the back end. But I call it the buy-in game because Pete Carroll has had buy-in. He's got it now. He had buy-in because he's Pete Carroll. Ben Johnson never coached a game in his life as a head coach, and they were 0-2, and they had problems in camp, and he kicked the offense off the field one day, and it wasn't going perfectly. They are 1,000% bought in after that post-game press conference when he told that team, we're playing situational football. We did this right. Everybody's getting a game ball. The quarterback throws 4 touchdowns. The defense plays great. And they beat the Cowboys. So that team looks much better to me, just the eyeball test, coming into Vegas than what I expected about 6-7 days ago.
Yeah, I'm still curious about how much of the system that Caleb Williams has picked up. I mean, as you point out, it's the Cowboys. Their defense is just really bad. So is it just a one-time thing right now for the Bears, where that's going to, Caleb Williams can revert back to what he's been the past, going back to last season, or is that the Caleb Williams we all thought he would be when he got drafted by the Bears? So that's what I'm really curious to see on Sunday. Because I think the Raiders could give him a hard time. And Max Crosby by himself can give Caleb Williams a hard time. So I think they're going to put up a lot better effort against the Bears than the Cowboys did. It's going to be. So I think this is a real chance for the Raiders to show, especially on defense, what they can do. And if they can get Williams frustrated, that gives the Raiders every chance to win that game.
Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you too, JT. Take care.
That's Mark Anderson from the AP, brought to you by Remy Martin. Sip like sports royalty. One of the great things about Remy Martin, their 1738 is the official cognac of our show, specifically made for the American palate, smoother, lighter, and finished the same way bourbon is finished, which I needed to hear about there because I like bourbon too. So you can mix this into a great Manhattan, an old-fashioned, an espresso martini now. Forget about it. Once you replace what you have in your espresso martini with Remy Martin 1738, you're going to thank us for it. Remy Martin, sip like sports royalty. They got a lot of activations with us. Their entire team over at Remy Martin is hands-on with us in a great way. They're telling us what they want to do to help Raider Nation with all these great activations in town. We really appreciate our partnership and all the interviews we have with the breakdowns, brought to you by Remy Martin, sip like sports royalty. So it's a very adult show today, which is nice. I'm not losing my mind at the level like a JT Bricktator or JT Volcano on a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 6, right? It's about a 6. Someone told me yesterday when they saw me, it feels like week 8. I said, no, don't, not for me. Maybe for you. Not for me. I feel like it's week 3. Going on week 4, but I did not expect this performance. I did not expect this performance, and a lot of other people didn't, except for some fans. I'm not calling them any fans. Some fans who literally are acting like they want the team to lose because they just want absolute chaos in their life. Oh, we're going to lose next week. Oh, no, Daniel Jones the week after that. Oh, we're going to lose every game. Get those people out of your life. They're toxic. Not that they're not fans, but I have the right to judge fans because I'm judged every bleeping second I'm on the radio. Good, bad, or indifferent. So choose the fans you want to hang out with. I choose the black hole. When I go with the black hole and I'm with Mark Jones and Cisco and I'm hanging out with Gorilla Rilla, they're not sitting around negative, destroying the coach, bashing the team, we're the worst team. They're trying to help. We can only help so much. The offensive line's got to block. And I think that they're going to have a big week. This, to me, is a very important week on what they're going to do. How is Pete Carroll going to use all of his experience to go out there and coach this team under this type of negativity? Not negativity in the building. I was there today. Not negativity in the building. Negativity in the media and some fans about what's going on with this O-line. How will Pete handle that and use that to motivate the team to win? Isn't that what it's about? I think that's what it's about. JT, live today, the aftermath of the loss to the Commanders. Yeah, I got this stuff on loud, man. Wow. All right, Jess, we'll reset. All right, everybody good? Fabian, man, what are you going to think? What are we going to do? Don't sell your tickets. I know Fabian sits in the seats. The only time I sell my tickets, or I usually give them away, is to family and friends. Family and friends.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. Nation Radio.
Mikey 7189. You don't know why Jackson Powers Johnson was moved from Senator Guard or not. You have no idea. Okay? There's a lot to do with protection, coverage, his availability with the concussions. It's a lot more to the story. Come on. Well, that's really loud. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Start
one was
with,
a
we'll
little
do Mike
Mike
and
Major.
Robert.
Okay.
Mike, 3 and 2. 3 and 2.
A long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
Man, Nick Bosa gone for the year. The Niners. I mean, you lose a player like that could cost you a Super Bowl. It really can. You know, and then, man, did you see the Vikings and how the Vikings performed? They were great. They were great, weren't they? That kid that had that defensive game.
McCarthy out for Winston.
Take who out?
Jake
Yeah.
Browning. So
What do you want to do with the old line?
nothing to really do right now.
So, what do you want to just stick with it and coach them up?
We had 60. We got money.
You got some money.
Registration.
JT, how were you able to put up with this year after year and try to be positive? Are you effing kidding me? I worked for an NFL team. My first 4 years, we went to 2 AFC championship games and a Super Bowl. I've been compensated great. I've made greatest friends of my life with the Raiders. How am I able to handle this? Very easily. I'm able to incorporate the positivity in my life as a fan. And when they're not playing well, I don't let it drag me into the depths of hell. I'm optimistic that they're going to get better. And I've been around the block long. I've been doing this 30 years, man. I've seen a lot of winning football. A lot of winning football. Don't worry about me. How am I dealing with it? Don't worry about me. I'm the last guy you got to worry about. I'm the last guy you got to worry about when it comes to being negative, spitting negative crap about their team and wearing the logo and stirring the pot. You bet I could give a shit if people think I'm a shill or I'm too positive. Anybody who listens to this show, the post-game show, knows how negative I can be when they don't play well. Okay, I don't have to prove to anybody anymore how passionate and honest I am about sports. I just don't make it personal and want everybody to get fired. If you want to do that, go ahead. You're not getting on the show, so you could talk about it in the chat. Lee Sterling, 2-0. Yes. Yes. That's Gorman with the tough loss. Big D, I saw you in the Gorman chat. I thought Gorman blew that game. They had a field goal blocked. They missed the field goal. That was the difference in the game.
You can score both backs. That's why.
If you're introduced,
again, if you don't like that I'm positive, I could give a crap. I choose to be. Do I sound like I'm positive today? Jess, do I sound like I'm positive today? I don't sound very positive today, do I?
Right back in 30.
Thank you.
Have about 5.
Yes, I get very cranky about my Yankees. All right, and we got that Remy Martin read from before. Write that down. I'm going to need that.
Welcome back to the JT Brick Show, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. America's original craft vodka. Visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Shotgun to Geno Smith, back to throw. Steps up, dancing in the pocket, underneath Tucker, crossing left, into the end zone. Touchdown Raiders. Trey Tucker came open late in the left flat, and his first career 2-touchdown game has the Raiders back on the board. Down 34-16 with 12:57 to go.
Jason Horowitz on the call. I'm watching NFL Live on ESPN. Peter Schrager, they're showing Dan Quinn with the blood coming down his nose after he was hit out of bounds. Mariota, 207 yards, a touchdown, a rushing touchdown. Marcus Mariota outplayed Geno Smith. Fact. So Geno had a couple of touchdowns, 3. But overall, Marcus handled the pressure better. He was able to run better. And look, you don't. It's not quarterback versus quarterback. This isn't Madden, a video game. I thought that Marcus Mariota had a better offensive line, a lot better. How would Marcus Mariota have played behind this Raider offensive line? You tell me. So he got a win. He put a win on the board against his former team, the Raiders. That can't happen. I mean, Jaden Daniels wasn't playing in the game, and Marcus Mariota handed us our lunch. Come on. That can't happen. You can't let that happen. If Jaden Daniels did that and put up 40 points, all right. He's Jaden Daniels. Mike in Vegas. Mike, thanks for waiting on 920. Go ahead.
Hey, Jason, just a couple of quick little points. I think you're everybody touched on all of it. I just think in the offensive line, maybe give a shot at putting JPJ back to center, put Dylan Parham back on the right side, where they seemed to gel pretty good last year. At the end of the year, they were playing like that, and maybe that could be a possible solution. And second, you said it, I've heard you say it so many times, I think we're getting a little bit somewhat predictable with the run, that we're backing Disney right into the block wall, the center of the line. Yeah, he breaks free every once in a while and gets a few yards, but he had a lot of points yesterday where he was getting contact at the line or behind the line. I'm thinking, get him, start run plays, working to the outside, run the wide receivers up on one side, clear that side of the field out, and now giving him a shot maybe to run down the outside instead of trying to go right up the gut. Protection hasn't been good, and maybe something like that could be a positive for us. So I'll let you go with that.
Appreciate it. I agree with you. I'm all for switching up the personnel on the offensive line. If you move Jackson Powers Johnson to center, and you move Meredith to guard, and you put Cap at left guard instead of right guard and do that, I'm all for that. Do whatever you want to try. I'm cool with that. I think that's one thing. Lincoln Kennedy pushed back on me with that. Lincoln says you find the guys. Remember the 5 best? We've been talking about the 5 best. Put them out there and then do a better job at coaching them. Do a better job with protection. Do a better job with your assignments. Lincoln played. I didn't play. That's what Lincoln thinks. I'm all for changing out. I'm really close to saying we drafted 2 rookies. They've never played a game. Put them in. I'm really close to that. Let them play. They're big guys. The Raiders, John Spytek, drafted in the first round 2 big offensive linemen to play in the NFL, correct? These guys are going to play. Put them in now if these guys are whiffing. I don't care what you do. Just get it right. All I care about is winning. I don't care if you win 17-15 or 38-37. The Raiders have to beat the Bears. The Raiders have to beat the Bears at all costs. The Bears look like they're figured out their passing game. They got really good receivers. Roma Dunze from Bishop Gorman, DJ Moore. They got a really good tight end. You know what the middle of the field's going to look like to the Bears when they look at film this week? Oh, my God, the Bills are going to be running with their helmets out to practice going, hey, let me run the first 12-yard in route over the middle of the field. We got to stop that. But we got to get the offensive line fixed. And I choose to protect Ashton Genty on the radio for now. You know, I work for the Raiders. I want Ashton Genty to be a star. I choose to say, hey, man, look at Ashton. When he has no chance, he gets blown up. Okay, he has no chance. Who's debating that? But look at what happens when he gets a chance. How's he do? He looks pretty good, doesn't he? I think he looks pretty good. This is the aftermath of the loss to the Commanders. I think it's a 2-day cleanup. What do you think? And then we'll move on to the Bears. I got to fill radio hours. Do this today and tomorrow. 702-365-9200. Sam Mson. It's a national interview we do from the 33rd team coming up. And then more of your analysis of the Raiders' performance. All right, Jess, do you have his number?
Tito's handmade vodka.
How many people tune in to see if I'm going to lose my crap? Or how many people tune in to just listen to radio?
Naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by Fifth Generation in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Judge, I'll make some good, you see those things he did for the show? Did you download them in there? Yeah, put that. Do you need them to download? Do you have them?
Together as the event features a golf tournament on Friday at Reflection Bay, followed the next night by a culinary feast overlooking Lake Las Vegas.
I mean, but that's a good filler. A ton. Yeah.
Grill, STK, Double Helix, El Dorado, and more. Your ticket also includes cocktails, whiskey, and wine tastings, dancing to an award-winning band, and more. Tickets are available at LakeLasVegasClassic.com. All proceeds benefit the Southern Nevada Junior Golf Association.
Again, I appreciate the people who are here to listen.
Quality ingredients.
Appreciate that.
In my hand, made with a smile to put a smile on your face.
Yes, prayers to Greg Papa.
Made with gratitude for every customer we get to serve. Most of all, every hamburger, cheeseburger, and double is made.
I don't complain about anybody not calling T. I got plenty of people calling in. I want people who call in who sound good and can help out the radio show. Why don't you effing call in, T? Why don't you call in and see how you sound? Let's go. You know? Yes, sir, agenda. I'm sitting here for a reason. You're there in the chat taking shots for a reason. All right? So you want to do this? Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Brick. Come on down. Call the FNT, Mr. Hotshot. Everybody's a hero until they get in front of me or on the phones.
Man, I can't believe this, man. You need a great attorney.
Yeah, they can hold.
You can't do this alone. You need the Vegas lawyers. Hi, this is Paul Pata. Whether you
Oh, we did not play well. We did not play well. Yes, the Bricktator is at it. There's Mike. Mike knows. Again, I care about my partners, my family, my sons, the Raiders. Not trolls. Not trolls. I am the Bricktator.
Right now, enjoy some of the best specials you'll find anywhere.
Oh, Mike, you probably have the gift of gab. You don't need the gift of gab to talk on the phone. You don't need the gift of gab. You just need an opinion.
For entertainment, October has 2 nights of making.
Make sure when you come to Vegas, you go to La Casa Cigars at Tivoli Village. It's fantastic. I had an ice cold Modelo, 2 of them, the other day, my 2 Modelo limit. I had a nice cigar. I had a Romeo y Julieta, which was fantastic. All right, we'll get Sam up.
Network.com anytime and listen whenever you want. Your home for radio coverage of the Monday Night Football games is right here on your football station, Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLB Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Grimaldi's Pizzeria, home of the famous New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
You know, obviously it means a lot to me being a part of the Silver and Black alone. You know, the history, I've said it a million times. I feel like I was meant to be a Raider. I love being here.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's amazing, opportunity, great community here, and great fan base. So I'm expecting a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of great times.
It's going to be all about competition. I mean, there's going to be no easy games,
And here's JT the Brick.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here, JT, at the Lotus Studios today. Live on YouTube. Sam Mson will join us momentarily. We'll get him on the radio from the 33rd team. This is the aftermath of the loss to the Washington Commanders. That is a really, really bad loss because they played terribly. And that was shocking. I thought it was shocking to Pete Carroll. I thought it was shocking to Pete. I mean, Pete's press conference, we're going to play a little bit of it coming up here if you missed it before Q comes on. And there was no doubt that Pete Carroll didn't have him ready. He took ownership for it. He thought they had a really good practice on Thursday, and they didn't have much. They really didn't have anything. So does that happen from time to time? It doesn't happen to the Bills and the Eagles. It doesn't happen to Andy Reid recently a lot. It didn't happen to Belichick and Brady often. But every once in a while, you have a bad game. But the Raiders had 2 bad games. where the offense, which was supposed to be enhanced by Ashton Genty and Geno Smith, along with Brock Bowers and some other players, they are not playing at a high level right now. Brock's not at 100%. Geno's running for his life. Ashton Genty can't get going, so Ashton Genty's getting blown up every time he touches the ball. Sam Mson joins us every week from the 33rd team. And Sam, earlier today, I saw you tweeted that the Niners can't catch a break. That Bosa injury, that's one of the 15, maybe 20 players in the entire league that if you lose them, it really hurts a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he's, one of the best half a dozen defenders in the NFL. He's their principal source of pass rush. So there's now a lot on the shoulders of everybody else there to try and pick up that slack. And, whether it's Bryce Huff, who they brought in this offseason, Robert Saleh, I think is going to have to get more creative and dial up more of the blitz and try and find other ways of getting pressure. And then all those young players that they've got, Michael Williams, their first-round draft pick, the defensive tackles on the inside, it's going to have to be everybody trying to pick up what they've lost in Nick Bosa. And even then, I don't know that they're going to be able to achieve it. So maybe they're going to be looking to the trade market, to, anybody that's still out there on the street. There aren't that many names available anymore. But yet it's a brutal blow for them.
Is it fair to say that if the Giants had a decent team, they would have beat Kansas City? I mean, they're in the game. Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards at Dallas, and we know Dallas's deep ball problem. But wow, other than Scatterboo and Neighbors who got banged up a little bit there, why did Russell Wilson have that big of a drop-off in such a big spot for him? Was it Kansas City and Spagnola's defense?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it is the Chiefs try and take away those deep balls and force you into being something else. And Russell Wilson has never reacted well to that type of defense. And that's kind of why a big part of why we've seen this steep decline from Russell Wilson in the last few years is the league has shifted towards taking away explosive plays at the cost of everything else. And Russell Wilson was always at his best when he could manufacture those explosive plays and those deep shots. And it's been a real struggle for him, I think, to adapt to something different. He was so successful against Dallas because it's the one thing they're doing right now is giving up those explosive plays everywhere, left, right, and center. He kind of played the same way against the Chiefs. And it's not that type of defense. He gave receivers a chance to make plays all the way through the game, and they didn't. They didn't make them. Malik Neighbors was throwing a jump ball in the end zone and barely even contested for it. That's kind of the two-way sword you're going to get with Russell Wilson, is he's going to give those guys a chance to make plays, but if they don't, it's going to be a bad day at the office for everybody.
Sam Munson's our guest. Are the Seahawks better than you thought, or the Saints just that bad?
A bit of both. I mean, I think Seattle is a very good team, and they could easily, win the division, be a genuine contender in the NFC. The Saints have been a bit better than I think I expected them to be this season, but that game got away from them early, and they're not the type of team that's going to, make it close if the game gets away from them. They had the punt return touchdown early to Torrey Horton. There was, another big special teams play as well. And all of a sudden, a guy like Spencer Rattler is staring at a two-score deficit. And at that point, you knew it was going to get pretty ugly.
Sam, Raider Nation is in shock with the drop-off of this offensive line. I mean, help us out here. You break down a lot of tape. It wasn't that bad of an offensive line last year. And then Pete Carroll comes in and John Spytek adds a couple other players on the back end. But, man, some of the film on the Raiders' offensive line, forget about getting Genty going. They can't even get him back to the line of scrimmage. But Geno is a pretty good, accurate quarterback when he has a clean pocket. What do you see on tape?
He is, yeah. It's been brutal. I mean, we looked at this group on paper when they drafted Ashton Genty and said, yeah, maybe that's a good enough group that drafting a guy like Genty that high can work because they can give him the platform to really show what he can do. And it just hasn't panned out that way. I mean, this offensive line has been a problem both in run blocking and I think in pass protection as well. It's been a real weakness. And yeah, right now it's undermining everything. Genty is one of two running backs in the NFL to have negative yards before contact. They basically haven't gotten back to the line of scrimmage on average this season before somebody makes contact with him. And no matter who you are as a running back, it's extremely difficult to succeed, let alone thrive in that kind of environment. You need more help from the blocking than that.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm going to see the Bears coming up on Sunday. I thought it was a big Ben Johnson moment to finally get buy-in from his team. I didn't feel the buy-in at camp in the preseason. It looked like it was getting away from him. A potential real big problem with Caleb. He had 4 touchdowns. Their defense played well. Was it more the Cowboys and their struggles, or did it look to you like the Bears finally came together and just snapped their fingers and played really well?
Yeah, I think it could be a bit of both. We looked at that season, like the Chicago Bears season last year. It all hinged on that ridiculous Hail Mary play where their season just went south. Washington's went in the opposite direction. It was almost like one of those plays in this game where Tyreek Stevenson just stole the ball away from Javonte Williams up the sideline. Dallas started well; they looked good. It was a big run, and then Tyreek Stevenson just robbed the ball away from him. And all of a sudden, you've got a turnover. They get the touchdown to Roma Dunze a couple plays later, and I think that completely shifted like the entire sort of feel of the game. Where if Dallas had scored early, really put some pressure on Chicago, I think they were vulnerable to kind of melting away a bit the way we've seen in other games this season. But all of a sudden, they get their tail up, they got the wind in their sails, and yeah, it did look different. It looked more like training camp when we went there to see a joint practice in Chicago. They looked really good on offense against Buffalo's defense. They were efficient. They were able to move the ball. They got the rookies involved. And yeah, maybe this was a turning point for them.
Sam Mson, as we wrap it up, man, Sean McVay's team usually don't get outclassed the way they did in the second half of that game. They were in complete control in Philadelphia. I don't want to get too dramatic acting like that's going to be the difference between home field or not deep in the NFC playoffs, but it could be just a blown opportunity. What'd you see from Nick Sirianni and the will for that Eagles team to come back with that passing game?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of describing it. For the Rams, they really had that game in control. They should have won based off the first half. Philadelphia cut loose a bit in the second half, and they just said, look, there's nobody on this team that can go one-on-one with A.J. Brown and come out on top. So let's just throw the ball up. Let's A.J. Brown make some plays. And they did that with a couple of their guys. They've got freak athletes all over that offense, whether it's A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, even Devontae Smith in a slightly different way. They just said, let's let these guys make the play and, give them a chance. And they did that. And A.J. Brown in particular, I think, was absolutely dominant in the second half.
What a job by the Vikings. One of the greatest defensive halftime performances, one half ever. We're talking about a league that had Ray Nitschke, Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor, and then a corner for Minnesota changes the history of the game. Kevin O'Connell's such a good coach. Flores, they are just well coached. Sometimes if they have an injury or a personnel issue, that's one of the reasons they lose. But when their offensive mind and defensive coordinator are on the same page, that's a duo that's really tough to outcoach.
Yeah, it is. I think they're one of the best coached teams in the NFL. The defense obviously got a bunch of crazy plays this week, forced fumbles everywhere, just amazing high leverage plays. But, Brian Flores' defense week on week on week is an absolute nightmare for a quarterback to deal with. There are clips everywhere. You can see the amount of disguise that goes on both pre and post snap, both in terms of the coverage gel, but also the guys that are rushing, the guys at the line of scrimmage, and how many players are rushing. It is awful for opposing quarterbacks to have to diagnose, and the speed with which they need to do it and then match it up to the play that they've got called on offense. It's one of the toughest defenses in the NFL to have to go up against, I think.
Sam, last one. I think that's a huge win for Jacksonville, a division win against a team that's by default been playing really well with C.J. Stroud since he came into the league. Well, two-part question. What are the problems with Houston? And Trevor Lawrence was 20 of 40, 50% for no touchdowns, and the Jaguars won that game. That's a game they're going to need later in the season if they want to be in the wild card or division hunt.
Yeah, and you can look at that two ways. On the one hand, if Trevor Lawrence starts playing really well, then the Jags are really in business. On the other hand, if Trevor Lawrence ends up being the cap on how good this team can be and never really becomes the player that they thought he was when they gave him the $55 million a year contract, that's its own kind of problem. Houston, the simple answer is the offensive line, but it's more than just that. It's not just the personnel on the offensive line. Like last year, it was like they'd never encountered, a stunt or a simulated pressure or anything creative up front. and they just can't block people. And they can't block them one-on-one, or they can't block them when it comes to exchanging depth, or it's just not a coordinated pass blocking unit right now. And it hasn't gotten any better with the changes that they made in terms of, firing Bobby Slowick in the offseason, giving more control to TJ Stroud at the line of scrimmage. None of the fixes have made anything better. And in fact, right now, it looks like they've made it worse.
Check the mic. I download it every week. Sam, tell everyone who doesn't have the podcast how to get it and how to get all your content, please.
Yeah, Check the Mic is the podcast name, wherever you get the podcast, or on YouTube.
Awesome. Talk to you next week, bud. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Take it easy.
You got it, Sam Mson. Great guests we have automatically right here every week. And then I have the opportunity to play that on my national show, and it's a double dip, and I really like it. He's a good guest, and he can't believe the Raiders' offensive line either. He can't believe it. And that's a guy who breaks down film for a living. I look at Raider film. When I look at the All-22 and Raider film, I'm able to see it. I look at it. I interview a lot of great Raider insiders. That's a guy who looks at everybody's tape. Everybody's tape. And the Raiders' tape does not look good now. So we're back to the show. The show's open the rest of the way. No more guests. Mondays during the season, I kind of turn it over to you on Mondays. I do the heavy lifting. You do the light lifting. You call in, and as long as you keep it respectful, I really want to hear from you. So I'm a season ticket holder. You see me leave the torch, I go to my seats. This is a Chicago game, man. I am highly concerned. I'm confident in Pete Carroll and his preparation. And I'm really happy we have Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll's been down different roads before that other coaches haven't been since we've had John Gruden, who won a Super Bowl and has been through a lot of adversity. Stevie G, out in Oakland, the town. Oaktown.
Hey, how you doing, JT?
Okay.
Yeah, it was a tough game, but the way I always look at the season, I break it into the quarter. So this is the first 4 games of the season. Everybody's learning everything. I mean, we got a new coach, new GM, obviously new players, new team. They have to learn what they're good at, what they're bad at, and then how they're all interacting, how they're responding. Like, to me, we just learned something really big. Based on our head coach, we know he's great, but we heard something from him. We also heard from the quarterback, from Gino. They took accountability for what happened, regardless of all the other, situations, whatever, travel, schedule, whatever. They took accountability and said, blame it on me. It's on me. Defense, special teams, offense didn't work out. That's on me as the head coach. That's on me. Gino says, hey, we're not putting it on the coach. I'm going to put it on me, and I've got to do better. And I think as long as we're taking that accountability approach, I appreciate that. And then I think definitely we've got some offensive line work to do. We'll see how, they manage what's going on there. Right. And then we have to just stay in it. But I mean, it's the first quarter. We're going to have to stay in it. And obviously with Pete's style, with that competitive edge, every game, every minute, every moment, you will have the Trey Tuckers having a great game himself personally, but, obviously there's no second place for losing the game, right? So they lost the game. But the fact that he produced, and, maybe that means there are more opportunities for other players to get involved to help out.
Yeah, excellent phone call. Thank you. Very reasonable. I'm dealing with knuckleheads in this chat room that I have saying it's the same old thing, 20 years, same old thing. No, it's not the same old thing. It's not the same old thing at all. This is led by Pete Carroll and John Spytek and Tom Brady. How dare anybody say the same old thing? The results aren't good. I'm in the building. I know what's going on in the building. Don't tell me it's the same old thing. Now, if you want to say, look at the results, okay, you're right. 1-2. Team looks no better than last year with Antonio Pierce, record-wise and stat-wise, but don't say same old thing. Like Mark Davis and John Spytek and Tom Brady and Pete Carroll aren't trying to do a great job to give you a great product. If the product isn't there and they're not playing well, use the radio show as a weapon to let us know your frustration. But don't give me this garbage, same old thing, same old thing. No, it's not the same old thing. Are you an adult? You don't think it's different with Pete Carroll? Now, you can criticize Pete Carroll's staff, and you can criticize the play calling. When have we never done that? Dude, I've been here since Lane Kiffin and Dennis Allen were head coach. What do you think those pre-games were like for me and post-games? What do you think the coach's interview was like with Dennis Allen when the team couldn't buy a win. He was a good coach. Turned out to be a very good coach in this league. He's coached his whole life. He wasn't a great head coach. I did shows with Hugh Jackson. Not bad offensive mind, right? Coaches come, coaches go. We got Pete Carroll for a reason. Mark Davis and Tom Brady, yes, Mark Davis and Tom Brady believe that Pete Carroll's the right guy for this job. And you're going to judge everything by week 3? Everything? You ever buy a new house and move in the first 3 weeks? You ever have a kid who went away to college and came home for their first break? You ever kind of have a job where you go to work 1 week and it was kind of a bad week? And you come back and you're like, man, I hope this doesn't happen. And then you have 2 bad weeks in a row. It happens. Then you have a good week. But the problem that I see here that you see also is, I'm wondering if we don't have the right guys up front. Do we have the right guys, or do we have to get new players? Lincoln Kennedy is calmer on that issue. Lincoln looks at the big picture and says, okay, we are going to have to let these guys work together, and the coaches are going to have to coach them up. I mean, one of the honors of my career is working with Eric Allen. So I'm sitting there with Eric today, and we're on the set, and we're waiting for the staff and get the guests ready, and we're talking off the record, but I can share some of it on the record. And Eric shared with me last night about what Pete Carroll is known for, legendary for tackling. He revolutionized the modern game, changing the way that the old school people used to tackle, and now how Pete Carroll brought in the technique of the rugby tackle and getting low and having a different spot that you go to tackle. I said, well, what does that mean? And Eric looked right at me, and he got down on his knee. He said, well, this week, everyone's going to get down on a knee in practice, and they're going to practice from their knee where to hit on the hip and how to wrap. And then they're going to stand up and practice how to do that from the hip in the tackle zone. And then they're going to do it from 5 feet away. I go, really? He goes, oh, yeah, they're going to break everything down and start over again. That's what a Hall of Famer tells you about the team and what they need to do. I mean, what was up with the tackling? How does a guy come running up the middle and he's dead? He's dead. Jeremy Chin comes in and blows him up. Okay, he got by him. Devin White's right there. And Devin White misses him, and then Max goes to grab him, and he gets by Max, and he's gone? What was that? The game was manageable then. If they punted, it was a 1-score game. We're talking about still in the game. The Raiders have played poorly against the Chargers and the Commanders, and they were in the game. So, and they've had terrible starts. Terrible starts. I don't want to get too dramatic, but I'll say it again. This game against the Bears is a massive moment for this team this season. Not next year. Pete Carroll will be here. He's a hell of a coach. Okay, Mark Davis owns the team. They're trying to put in a new program that will be great long term. What do I mean by great? You think I'm nuts, so go take a shot at me. The goal is to win the Super Bowl, is to get the Tom Brady, John Spytek, Pete Carroll team on track. So not in 4 or 5 years, in 2 to 3 years, they're competitive to a point where they're like the Rams. They might not be Buffalo or Baltimore, but they can get in the dance. It doesn't look that way after the Commanders, right? But you got to give them a couple of weeks to try to fix it. You got to give them a couple of weeks to try to fix it. And I think that Pete deserves that from his fan base. The thing that I struggle with, not mightily, but I struggle with, is how many of these negative fans that I'm looking at on social media, how many of them make up the Raiders? It's a brilliant question, isn't it? Put yourself in my position for a minute. And I'm very humbled and blessed to be here. I love this job. I appreciate it every second. If you know me, you've had a beer with me, you've met me, you know how much I love this honor to do this. How many of the negative people do you think make up the entire group? I'm hoping that it's a really small number. I really do, because I meet a lot of people who are not negative and super negative and love this team. But it seems like if it's the Truman Show or Groundhog's Day, the movies, it seems like I'm just seeing all those people come by me like a movie, like it's all the fire him, get rid of him, this sucks. No, it's not like that in the real world. I was in the building today. People are focused in the building on the sales side, premium sales, landscaping and making the field great, preparing the meals. Bobby Romanski's department, the best of the best, the equipment group. Everybody's working to get this thing fixed. Let them try to fix it. They better get it fixed by Chicago. Oh, no. Would you have rather have had Chicago come in 0-3 or high with a win? That's a good topic. Let's mix it up. We've run out of phone calls? Okay. No, we got a few. I know. I got to get the crowd going here. Got tickets to Motley Crue this weekend in America. Are there two different concerts in your life? Horse with No Name, America, and Girls, Motley Crue. And then I got a Raider game where I'm live from the Torch. That's not a bad week here. So that's fun. It's exciting. But we all live and die and we bleed silver and black. Then we might need a Raider man to come in here with the Raider oath to kind of restack this place on Thursday and Friday. All right, I want to tell you about M-Ride. That's a great company. Had dinner with the M-Ride team last week. They're in here. They have this unbelievable company that has these beautiful shuttle buses that get you in and out of the game, the Chris Brown concerts, the Canelo fight, and more people are understanding it. So go to mride.com, use my promo code BRICK, which a number of people do, and they get the discount, and then they text me friends, and they say, oh, my God, it's great that I'm going to the game this way. They have several pickup locations. All you got to do is go to mride.com. Why would you want to wait out of Allegiant Stadium in an Uber Lyft line? Oh, my God. Who has the ability to do that? M-Ride's got the luxury bus right there. They take you in and out for the price of an Uber or a Lyft. People love it. That's mride.com, promo code BRICK. So that's where we're at. Got about a half hour to go. I got 2 more nights of the national show from 8 to 11 p.m. Ooh. Tonight we have one of the best games of the year. The team I picked to win the Super Bowl last year, Detroit, going up against Baltimore. You know who I picked to play in the Super Bowl this year? Buffalo beating Green Bay. Green Bay lost to the Browns, and we play the Browns later this year. All right, let's get it. Check it out. What do we got too much? Let's stay. With the 802, do you want to stay in or pop out? Go one more? Yeah, I'll do one more. We'll do one more here.
In that manner.
Adam had some chicken parm last night.
That's the type of weapon that you have here. Pete Carroll said the only way to keep that coming.
Oh, Fountain Blue. I got to get a Fountain Blue live reading.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Clear.
Okay. That's not the next
is the
video.
official and exclusive
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
The Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. If you're considering a luxury SUV for the family, need to look at the midsize 2025 Volvo XC60, awarded a 5-star rating from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It's the luxury SUV you feel good putting your family in its safe. Pick one of the great.
Coach them up. No zone blocking. All right, JT, you have to realize that a lot of us have been dealing with this garbage team for better than 25 years. We're out of positivity. Good, UA. Then get your negativity out of my life. Have something positive to say, or don't subscribe and go somewhere else. You want to come in here and bitch and moan every day? I'm not going to deal with it. Be critical and have something good to say, great. But everybody bitching and moaning every day, I know I was here for 25 years. I've been through the same thing as you. Don't tell me how tough it's been for 25 years. What the hell you think I've been? I've been a front row seat to this. You know, I've had a lot of great memories and a lot of great wins, even with the Raiders at times. So just, why am I so hardcore? Because I got a job to do, Robert, where I'm hardcore. So that's it. You can go listen to the softcore podcasts, you can go listen to the soft shit all day. Or you can go listen, there's a pocket of really angry shit you can go listen to. Go to the angry stuff, man. There's some doozies out there, man.
27. Nevada's largest golf.
And not everybody has to support me. I just want everybody to be fair with the team. Lori knows that. Preach, JT. Kenny Clark. I enjoy interaction. I just like respectful interaction. We're dealing in a time when with our country that not a lot of people can talk anymore without making it personal, right? Threats, anger, just I'm not into that, man. I might have been into that in my 20s or 30s. Not into it now, man. But the team's played really bad. And what am I doing? What am I doing that is not is there and be honest with me today, is there anything that I've said about how badly this team is playing that you think I should be more critical about? Let me know. Put it in the chat. I'm more than happy to read it. 90.
And our specialized team knows the new home market inside and out. And if you need speed, we'll even buy distressed homes for cash in 24 hours. No gimmicks, just solutions built to help you move decisively. Don't get caught reacting. Be the smart one. Call the real estate guys today before the market moves without you. Call 702-310-6683. That's 702-310-MOVE. EXP Realty, license number 38886. Call for details.
Talk to Aaron Taylor,
The real estate guy.
Flood season, smudge season. It's just a little rain, and you're in a car. Drive through the puddle. It's like a
The people that flip-flop when they win, the Raider fan on Twitter that has the Raider vest and the Raider tattoos, and he loves the Raiders, and then he just rips the team and says how much they suck. Those are the people that drive me nuts. But they're allowed, man. They're allowed to be fans. Everybody's allowed to be a fan, man. I'm not the fan police. I'll just tell you how I do it.
Ready, full go on football betting.
Chip is out.
Best way to do it is to
Okay.
today for
I don't have the list, do I?
Yeah.
sports account.
I do or I don't? That I'm aware of, no. No.
Bill has the largest weight in the app. You see Carroll, you can cash out, add live, in-play wagering, and all major.
Will I drop it? No, I don't have it. I don't see. Oh, maybe I put it in one of my. Oh, here we go. So Chip is out.
Yeah.
So everyone's out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
To PT, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. from midnight to 2 a.m.
Smith takes the snap and he's looking left. Pressure comes again. Oh, he's got a man open down the field. It's Tucker and shot inside the 20 to the 10. Touchdown, Tucker. His third touchdown of the game is a 61-yard strike. The trifecta for Trey. And the Raiders not done yet with 3:42 to go.
Yeah, I'm playing the air drums. You can only see it on YouTube. Like Tommy Lee, who I'll see this weekend. JT, I'm back with you. I know what you need. I know what you need. You need Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. You know why? I was watching Charles Woodson on the Fox pregame show. That was an early pregame show. I got to the building at 7 a.m. Eric Allen met me. We were there. We're ready to go on the air for the Raiders. And we're watching Charles Woodson, Carissa Thompson, the pregame show. And Charles does an unbelievable job. And I'm sitting there going, man, not only am I friends with Charles Woodson, I'm a spokesman for Charles Woodson's Woodson Bourbon Whiskey, the official bourbon whiskey of the Black Hole. And I'm in the Black Hole. What a combination we have here. So we have the limited edition Black Hole bottle. It's live now at WoodsonWhiskey.com. Don't wait. These bottles will move fast. And because you're with me, the code is JT the Brick. You'll get 15% off. But you got to go to the website. Charles is trusting the Raider fans who listen to me to go to every bar in town and ask for a Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. If they don't have it, you jot down the name of the bar, you send it to me, and then we try to figure it out. Or just go to WoodsonWhiskey.com. If it wasn't your game day whiskey, it is now. Please celebrate responsibly. So that's what I think. I think everybody needs a Woodson Bourbon Whiskey to kind of reset and get ready for the Bears. So that's what we're doing here today. This is the aftermath. It's a 2-day cleanup. You know, it's a little bit of a toxic oil fire. We bring in the hazmat. Everybody had the gloves on. We spray it down for Monday, and then we clean it up, and then we get on to Chicago. And are there going to be Chicago fans in our building? Yes. Why? They live in Chicago. They don't want to go to Des Moines, Iowa on the weekend. They don't want to go to Baton Rouge. They want to go to Vegas. They want to stay in a luxury hotel. They want to buy your tickets, go to the game, wear their Bears jerseys. We will not stop this until we win. Until we win. Until we're like 10-1 or down the road that we're 12-2. It's just fans are going to buy tickets because they love Vegas and they want to see our stadium. So we got to make sure we get this home field loud. And the Raider fans that are there, be loud, wear black. I thought the crowd was great. I thought the crowd was great against Chicago. Fantastic. Against the Chargers. Ruben in Vegas. What's going on, Ruben?
Hey, JT, thank you for taking the call. First and foremost, I love my Raiders. I'm a Raider fan. I got the ink on me. You know, I go to as many games as possible. But, you know, I know you say in the chat all these knuckleheads out there about, you know, the Raiders being Raiders. What we mean is the organization. I know they're trying. I know they're doing their best. You know, they moved to Vegas, got the facilities, got the stadium, got everything that they didn't have in Oakland. We got the revenue, the income coming in now. But we just get frustrated when it's like the same product, man. Like, I know they're changing, they're trying. These are professionals, these are adults. They're going to, you know, do their best, try their best. When we say Raiders being Raiders, it's like nothing surprises us anymore. We're used to it. At least with other organizations, other teams, they make the playoffs here and there.
Right. So what do you want to do about it? We know that. We know they're trying. Mark's trying. He just wrote, you know, the size of the checks he wrote for Pete Carroll to pay off Antonio Pierce, to pay off Josh McDaniels, to get Brady in as an owner. So Mark's trying. The team's trying. I'm telling you, they're trying. What do you want to do to fix it? You just can't say, hey, I'm upset, man. We lose every year. We get it. Mark's trying to fix it. What do you want to do? What would you do to fix it when it comes to the football team with what you saw against the Washington Commanders?
Well, the offensive line, we need to work on the offensive line first and foremost. And just like you said, consistency. You know, yes, we trust Pete Carroll. Yes, we want to trust the process, but we just want consistency. Look at, we fire all these coaches, and it's not my money. By all means, it's not my money, but you're still paying coaches. You're paying Gruden.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure you out. Are you happy that we fired the other coaches and brought in new ones? Are you happy that the money is allocated to win now? What is your specific problem? You want consistency, but you're upset. So you want to keep Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I want consistency, but at the end of the day, I just hope poor Pete Carroll doesn't get his end of his coaching career. I hope it doesn't go bad for him, knowing all the success he had in other organizations.
Well, I mean,
I love the Raiders.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I know how frustrated you are. Thanks for the call. Don't worry about Pete Carroll. He just turned 74 years old. He loves every new fan in Raider Nation. He loves all of you. He does. He really is making it important to me in the 10 to 12 minutes we get. Remember, when I interview him, I get him for 10 minutes. I got about 30 seconds before the interview and a minute after to talk to him because he's on to a meeting. And one of the big things that he's telling me is how important the fans are, right? And how important it is to him. But don't worry about Pete Carroll. Is he going to be okay? Come on. Pete had a press conference. Matter of fact, Jess has a little bit of it ready. I didn't hear this. Obviously, I was in my car. I listened to a little bit on my handheld device, but let's just catch Pete Carroll, the beginning of his press conference. We'll take a few minutes and how he felt about the game.
So you okay for changes, or you going to go with what you have?
We're working on some stuff. We're going to want to see JPJ come back to action and get back involved. We have to, in all phases of it, we got to get off the football better and make more of the running game. There's not enough happening there to act on the play pass game, and we're just not getting enough. So we just got to keep working it. We got the guys we got, and there's, and we need to keep developing and keep building on it.
So would that be competition at the right guard spot or the entire line possible?
We're working at the right guard spot. Our young guys they'll get their turn sometime, but they're not ready yet. So we have what we have, and we got to make our guys do better, and we got to fit it together better than we have.
Pete, last week in terms of the Chargers game, you said that you were not going to basically scrap the film. I'm curious as to what is that differentiating factor between when you decide to do that versus.
I was basically not going to what?
Like move past the film, like you weren't going to like scrap the film. You said that after the Chargers game.
Yeah. What does that mean by scrap the film? I'm not
like throw away and like I was curious if they're like
we're at such an early stage of developing of our team that we have to keep building. We have to go through the hard stuff, learn the hard way, learn the hard lessons. Yeah, it's a thought. You throw the film out and don't look at it. But we have too much to teach, too much to learn, and so this is just part of the process, and it would have been nice to, get 2 wins out of these 3 or get them all. But it didn't happen yet. So we've got to keep working at every phase of our game. We really, we didn't turn it around from Monday night relative to how they did. They had the big break and they took advantage of it. I overdid it. I tried to make sure that we had our legs. I feel like I didn't do the right decision making to get us right. And because fundamentally we did not play as well as we have. And so, it just happens. You got to take a shot at it. That game coming Monday night or after a Thursday nighter for the other team has historically been very, very difficult. And, that's the schedules. We got to play it. And we need to respond better.
Last week we were talking about Gino kind of taking defense games with Trey Tucker's performance. Do you believe that was Gino kind of taking what the defense game, or do you think that Trey just watching the film just had an incredible game and was just getting over separation? How would you see that?
No, it's a combination. Gino really did get back on track, and he played like he plays. The week before was something different, and it was great to see him come back like that. He took advantage of Trey and his opportunities. Trey was fortunate on a couple opportunities. The concept really fit the concept of their defense. He got behind him a couple times. We didn't get him a couple times too. There was other opportunities that we could have gone to him. So Trey took advantage of it. Gino was on point, and there was some real nice calls there to get him open for the touchdowns. Trey's had a really good start to this season, and he's been very consistent. He's come through in big ways, and it's just really indications of more to come. We got to keep going to him because he's making things happen.
What do you think the issues are special teams?
Well, I go back to the whole team, and that's why this is my responsibility. The whole team fundamentally did not play well. They did. I'm going to give it to Danny too. I thought his team played exceedingly well in all phases, and Larry Izzo, their special teams coach, used to be our special teams coach. He got those guys ready to go, and they whipped us on the returns, so. It's a hard game, but I'm going to take it. I have to do a better job of getting these guys ready to go in the matchups that we have, regardless. And it showed up in special teams quite clearly. Fundamentals, just being low and leverage and attack and defending blocks and beating the blockers on our coverage, all of that. And it was the too many big plays that lead them to an easy win for them.
All right. So you got a lot from Pete Carroll right there. He owned it all. It's on him. He didn't have the team ready to play from special teams to all. We all good with that? We all good with that? I mean, I saw a lot of coaches here that I all respected, all of them. You know me. I don't remember any of them saying it at that level. I remember some of them taking the loss. We got to be better. I'm the coach. Never like that. Never like that. And how many times has Pete Carroll said that in your life, knowing him? I mean, I didn't listen to every post-game press conference of the Seahawks when they lost. Neither did you. But how are you not standing behind that coach when he says that? If you're a Raider fan, you can be critical. You are being critical. I play the other piece of sound, which is the head coach telling you, you're right. I got it. It's on me. Now what are we going to do? Are we going to continue to pile on the coach? Or are we going to say, hey, man, that's my coach. Man, I want to beat the Bears. I want to go to 2-2. That's all we can do here. So he owned it. If he didn't own it, then I could open up the phones where everybody calls in and says, man, Pete Carroll didn't own it, man. He's pushing it on to someone else. He's blaming the players. None of that happened. He's okay. This is okay. The problem is we don't run the ball at all. We don't. We're not very good at pass protecting. Our last game on special teams is one of the worst games I can recall. We don't tackle well because our last game, we didn't tackle anybody. The last game, we didn't tackle anybody, so you can't say we tackle well. We gave up 200 yards in rushing. We look at the game, the one game. We don't look at the whole season. I'll do that in week 14. I look at game by game. We don't tackle well. We don't block on the offensive line. We don't play good special teams. What do we do well? We get burned once a game on a deep ball. Is that because we're young and we don't have the players we want eventually? Yeah. We don't have a veteran Lester Hayes. We don't have a 7-year Mike Haynes. We don't have a veteran free agent Eric Allen coming to Oakland on his way to the Hall of Fame. So get used to your young corner or someone getting beat over the top. What do you think? Jeremy Chinn's going to be perfect and Isaiah Palomar? No. And catch the ball when it's thrown to you. Please catch the ball. If you're on defense, it's the Chris and West Oakland rule. If they throw the ball to you and it hits you in the hands, catch it. We can't afford to drop those balls. Jay in Las Vegas. Jay, you're up next. Appreciate what's going on, Jay.
Hey, thanks for the call, JT. You mentioned Chris in West Oakland. He said something very, very poignant that I actually want to touch on. So he mentioned the fact that the players on the offensive line are suited more towards a power scheme than a zone scheme because of their size.
Yep.
And I agree with that 100%. But I'm starting to think now, do we have the coaches that can adjust according to the players that you got? The reason why I say that is this. I want to use a basketball analogy if I can real quick. You take Phil Jackson. He wins his first 6 rings with Bulls.
Right.
The offense is primarily from the wing, Jordan and Pippen. Who did he have at center? I don't even think he even had a Hall of Fame center. He goes to L.A., and he changes his whole triangle offense to suit a center, Shaquille O'Neal. So he made his adjustment. I'm not trying to call the coach, compare the coaches to Phil Jackson, obviously not. But the point I'm trying to make is that they made, an adjustment can be made. Yeah. Now we're looking at the game, and looking at the game and the way, especially the offense with the running game, that's the whole issue. The Raiders' problem is because of the running, and it's because Ashton Genty has to wait because of the zone blocking. He has to wait. And that's not his game. If you go back and look at the tape from Boise State, he ran behind a power blocking scheme. I mean, they gave Penn State, who got a lot of NFL players drafted, he was the workhorse and kept Boise State in the game because of his, the power blocking. He just hits the hole and he knows exactly where he needs to go. So what my question is can the offensive coaches acknowledge that maybe we might not have the players that are suitable for the zone?
Yes.
And let's shift to a power blocking.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. I agree with you. Yes, if you just made a very good point. I really respect what you said. Can the coaches adapt to the personnel, the scheme, and can the coaches move on from what's not working? That is the elephant in the room. Okay, you have people that are vocal. Jason Horowitz, Kirk Morrison, our play-by-play team, Eric Allen, Amber Theo Harris, James Jones. I think myself, Vinny, Q, Clay, everybody who's on the channel, Vince, we all have different opinions. And here's the opinion that this channel, Raider Nation Radio, and I'm just giving you my opinion, you can do whatever you want. Everybody's going to have to figure out on changing the scheme and bringing in new players, or sticking with the players, changing the scheme, or sticking with the scheme with the same players and hope they play better. It's like a game show. Door number 1, 2, or 3. What door do you want? You want to blow the thing up before Chicago? I'm all for it. You want to blow it up with Jackson Bowers at center? I'm all for that. I have no problem with that. Door number 2. Do you want to change from zone to power, power to zone? I'm all for that. And number 3, Lincoln Kennedy, do you want these guys to have another shot to play together and gain experience as it's ugly? What door do you want? 1, 2, or 3? That's what the show's about. We're trying to figure it out. But I know that the coaches are paid to figure it out. They're paid to do this and figure it out. We're fans. We're fanatics. They're coaches. They've all coached somewhere else. They all have a drawer in their house with other sweatshirts from other teams where they used to coach, right? Little secret. Everybody else is not a Raider until they come to the Raiders. They're trying to figure it out. Man, what an option we have for you for Monday Night Football. Bel Air Lounge. Have you been inside Durango yet? I go to Durango a lot. And Bel Air is the lounge right off the lobby. As soon as you walk in, they got a couple of pool tables. It's open. They got a DJ booth. You can see the entire pool. And they got this great little circle-type bar. Great service. You can get a booth. You can get a table. But they want you there for Monday Night Football. And you can kick back with their $25 bottomless wings and draft beer, plus enjoy their $7 game day drink menu. They have a special drink menu for us, led by Tito's. Tito's Handmade Vodka, 2 for 1. JT, right? Tito's is a partner. Bel Air is, and Click Hospitality. We bring them together. And that's not all. Select menu favorites are 50% off during the game. Bel Air Lounges, where Vegas does game day in style. Luxury seating, handcrafted cocktails, and unbeatable specials. When my wife first went there, the first night we went there for an event, my wife looked around and said, "What is this?" I said, this is Bel Air. And then when I got friends in town, I say, meet me at Bel Air. And they're like, what is this? I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's a pool vibe that comes into a lounge. They do a great job, and they want you to check it out for Monday Night Football. If you're on this side of town or the other side of town, wherever you are, you can't miss it. 215 Durango. You see the beautiful new Durango Hotel and Casino. You'll love it. And right there in the front desk lobby to the left is Bel Air. When we come back, we will wrap it up. Man, Jess, I feel good about today. We did a lot of heavy lifting for the nation. And the nation did a lot of heavy lifting for me. Thanks to all the bricklayers. We're trying to grow our Facebook, and we're trying to grow our YouTube. JT the Brick, YT on YouTube. Please subscribe for free so you can see the Bricktator and some of the days where there is actual steam coming out of my ears. Wow, what a show, what a show, what a day. Everybody behave. Positive people, negative people. Man, I couldn't even keep up with the chat. It was so fast today. I couldn't even keep up. Snow Raider, thanks for the post-game call. See you back here tomorrow, man. Thanks for doing it. Please subscribe on the way out. And hey, please subscribe to Lay in the Wood. Matter of fact, my son's going to put it in the chat. If everybody here can go, I'm going to keep the chat up here. Lay in the Wood. Rod Woodson and myself. New football podcast. Really cool podcast. So I'd like you to subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, then we can't make any money and have big advertisers and do more. That's what this is all about. So if you can do that, we would greatly appreciate that. So my son is putting up the link there. There it is. Look at my son. Please click on the link to that and subscribe to all that. And you'd be doing me a big favor, and my son's a big favor. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Oh, I interview the head coach tomorrow. I'll tell you about that then.